ready for statistics and mechanics week. So, welcome back. I hope you had a lovely weekend and took a break from studying maybe, but let's get back into it now. Let's focus and try to make the most of this week. So our aim at the moment is to basically finish the course, finish the AS Maths course. That is our aim. And the AS Maths course, I'm going to show you the schedule from inside the Exambulance that hopefully you've all got. If you haven't got your Exambulance, just go to the Tailored Tutors website and get your Exambulance, totally free. Here is the schedule that we're following in the study schedules. So last week we had a look what is in the pure maths. That's 2/3 of the course is pure. We had a look what's in that. Then we chose what to look at, and we looked at exponentials and logs and trig, and then we did areas under curves, and we also did vectors. We didn't actually look at linearizing data with logs because less people wanted that than vectors. So that's what we did last week. This week we're going to focus on statistics, and next week mechanics. Now, in a way, this is really bad structure of the 3 weeks, because if you think about it, the pure is worth 2/3 of the marks. So I've given 1/3 of the time to 2/3 of the course. And then statistics is like a 1/6, and mechanics is a 1/6. It's hardly anything. It's like 50 marks each. So why give it a whole week? Well, there's 2 reasons. One of them is that I know that the order of teaching for a lot of schools and colleges is that the mechanics and stats is done last. So therefore, having us chopped off at the knees a few weeks ago means that for more of you, it's the stats and the mechanics that you haven't done. That's one reason. The other reason is that stats and mechanics, even more than pure, is the sort of topics that take a long time to become confident with. So even if you have covered all the content for stats and mechanics, you might still feel that you don't know any stats or mechanics, or that every time you look at a paper, you just don't know what to do. So that's the other reason for slowing down at this point and spending quite a lot of time talking about the style of questions that you might get and the knowledge that you need in order to do well in the statistics and the mechanics, sorts of things that go wrong, all that kind of thing. And then after that, after we've done stats this week and mechanics this week, the aim of this is that we are going to be totally done in terms of revision notes, the whole AS covered. Okay, is everybody up for this challenge of, in the next 14 days, make all of your AS Maths notes, like the whole lot? So there's no, from that point, the end of next week, there is no going back then to, I mean, we can work on problem topics, but we're going to go with papers. Okay, we're going to go straight in with papers in 2 weeks from now, 2 weeks to the day, okay, in test conditions. Okay, so excellent. That's the plan, because I think the sooner that we get this done and get a complete set of notes, the better. If you have got a TT subscription, then there is a grand total of 70. No, hang on, I'll show you. I'll go and get my book. So this is the whole A level, not just the AS. This is the whole A level. So the AS is about half of this. But there are notes templates on every video, and there are 70 in total. Each one's about 10 minutes. Okay, so you can, if you want, and you've got a subscription, you can print each one, fill it in as you go, and then in total, in absolute complete total, the entire thing, there's 70. So if we did that for the next 10, like 5 days this week, 5 days next week, that would be 7 pieces of paper, 7 notes per day. Each set of notes takes about 15 minutes, so it's about 2 hours. So it's really doable, even if you didn't do any last week. It's still really, really doable to get all those notes made so that we can move on. Okay, today might be a little bit shorter than a normal action hour, because I'm not going to be doing any content today. I'm just going to be getting an idea from you lot what you want for the rest of this week. So we're going to focus on stats, but it's down to you, like what we actually do on a day-to-day basis. I think I planned for this week to do binomial and then hypothesis testing. And then I can't remember. We'll have to have a look at the schedule. And then probability and then correlation. So first things first, let's look at the overview. And okay. I don't think you can see it yet. Can you see it yet? Can you see my iPad? Oh, there we go. It was just being slow. So this is the whole of the applied, okay? This is first years and second years. This is just literally everything. But I want you to see how what you're doing now fits in with what you're going to be doing later. So the statistics part of this is the left-hand side. And the normal distribution is the only topic that is purely A2. So you won't have done any of that. The only other bits that are just A2 is this little guy formula at the end here. That's the second year. And hypothesis testing for correlation is the second year. That's it. So statistics wise, nearly everything that is in statistics is in the first year. So you don't have a lot more after this. After what you've done this year, there's only normal distribution to add on and hypothesis testing for correlation. But you already know what hypothesis testing is by this point because you've done it in binomial. Okay. Now, I'm going to talk you through how many marks each of these things are worth in the final exam. So when you do your actual A-levels, the binomial distribution is going to be worth, this is on average across all of the new spec papers that they've produced last year, the year before, all the mock ones, all that kind of thing. So literally averaged over all of that, the binomial distribution is usually worth about 12 marks. Oops. Let's lock that so it doesn't keep doing that. $12 marks. Normal distribution also worth about 12 marks. You do that next year. Okay. Probability worth about 9 marks. Correlation and regression worth about 6 marks on average. Data, like all that stuff, all of the stuff on histograms and cumulative frequency and the mean and interpolation and all of that stuff is worth about 4 marks. And the sampling is worth about 2. Okay. So what we need to do when we're revising, this is an important point, and it's another reason why we recommend that you study paper by paper, not topic by topic, is, so for example, those 4 marks for data. Oh, my sister. Those 4 marks for data, how much work would you need to do in order to get those 4 more marks? Loads, right? Say it was the day before the exam and you needed to put, all you've got is a day and you're going to choose what you're going to do with that. If you start going topic by topic, you end up putting loads of time into something that isn't actually worth that much, which is obviously not ideal. So the data and the sampling and even the correlation and regression, really, they're not the focus for your revision. It should be, this year, you should be really focusing on the binomial distribution and the hypothesis test. If you can do the binomial distribution and the hypothesis testing within the binomial distribution, then you have got 12 marks out of 50. Which is a quarter of the stats mark. So it's really, really, really important to know how much these different bits of it are worth, okay? So just as a, so Resurrection Stone, the specifications, the government said for maths, not for any other subject, but we are special, the government said when they brought in the new specs that the exam boards were not allowed to write their own specifications for maths. So the specifications weren't written by the exam boards, they were written by a government group, and they are all exactly the same. So if you download the OCR, the EdXL, the AQA, and like literally they are word for word identical. There is 2 differences, and it's really small. The differences are that AQA decided that they were not going to do moments, a particular type of moment. This is a second year thing anyway, but a particular type of thing is a ladder leaning on a wall like that. And AQA said they are not going to do ladders. Okay. Oh, do we need to set a timer? Well done. Yes, but I'm going to do a shorter one today. I'm going to do, instead of an action hour, I'm going to do a Pomodoro, which is 25 minutes. So you can do Pomodoros or action hours. I usually do Pomodoros when I'm really tired because 45 minutes is too long, or for a quick task, whereas I do an action hour when I want to make quite a lot of progress on something. So we're going to do a Pomodoro today, 25. Yeah, so AQA are not doing ladders. And the other thing that AQA are not doing, and this is in the second year, is the continuity correction. AQA are not doing the continuity correction. But other than that, yeah, Andre, it means you can do all of the past papers as practice. Literally the only difference is the large data set and the fact that AQA students, if AQA students did EdXL or OCR, they might see a ladder and then not know how to do a ladder problem. It is just moments, but they might not ever have seen a ladder. And in the mark schemes for the normal distribution, it's all second year stuff though. So in the first year, literally you can use all of the papers. The only difference is the large data set, or the stupid large data set, as I usually call it. And also even that, because the exam boards change their own large data set every couple of years, it might actually be that even if you're using your own exam board's past papers, the large data set questions are still irrelevant because it was a different large data set. So yes, basically you can do all of them. Okay, so binomial distribution. What do we need to know for that? Not a huge amount. How to find the individual probabilities, how to find cumulative probabilities, and how to do the hypothesis testing. Has anybody, like, just give me an idea, yes or no, have you done at college or at school, have you already covered binomial distribution? Is it already sort of done, yes or no? I think probably it will be done by most people, but it does, obviously it does. You've only done the binomial. Oh, really? Okay. All right. So binomial distribution, when I do that tomorrow, then I'll do that kind of from first principles. I'll like pare it all down. Probability is a bit more tricky. I think it's well worth us spending an hour on the probability, definitely. And because that's really hard, isn't it? And the correlation and regression, I think we should also spend an hour on. Okay. So just to get us started, looking at the sorts of questions that you can get in statistics and what they're testing, we're going to try to pull them back into these 4 different areas. So the 4 different areas are binomial, probability, correlation and regression, and sampling and data sets. They're the 4 bits. Okay. I'm just finding the questions for you. None. Okay, you should be able to see the, oh, that's trigonometry. Okay, let's go, not trigonometry. So this is the exam guide, and you've got like loads of question packs on different topics. So if we look at the AS and go into binomial distribution, then the question pack's got all of these different types of questions. So I'm going to go through just a few of them and show you the different types. So this is a classic question, first of all, classic binomial distribution. Don't forget really what they're asking you, what they're assessing you on in the binomial distribution is, can you find an individual probability? Can you find a cumulative probability? And can you interpret your results in context? That's basically it. And then the hypothesis test. Okay. So I don't think, normally I would say you can have some minutes to get ahead, but I don't think I'm going to do that in this case because so many of you haven't actually learned it. So I'm going to use this as a test case to demonstrate what is going on with this particular topic. Okay. So binomial distribution. It's about situations in which there are n tests. So test number 1, test number 2, test number 3, blah, blah, final test. And each test is only allowed 2 outcomes. It could be, the test could be success or failure, that's it. You can't have a test like it's out of 10. The test is always success or failure. So you do the test and then you do the test again, you do it again, you do it again, you do it a certain number of times and you see how many successes you've got. That's anything that's in that situation can potentially be modeled by a binomial distribution, which is really nice because then we can find the answers off our calculator. So in this case, what is the test? It's whether or not a customer pays by cash. That's the test. Yes or no, did they pay by cash? So they go in and they pay by cash or not. So how many customers are going in? 24. So out of 24 customers, we want to find out what is the chance that 2 of them pay by cash. So the way that we do these questions is with a calculator. And you need to know how to plug this information into your calculator so that you can get the answer. But binomial distribution just always comes down to 2 things. It comes down to the number of trials, the number of times that you see whether or not you've got a success or failure. And then it comes down to the probability of it being successful or not. In this case, there's 24 times that we do the trial and the chance of success is 0.22. And if you can feed that in here, then you can just ask the question, what's the probability of 2? And this will tell you the answer, okay? Does anybody not know how to use the calculator to do that? See if you can find it. With the class whiz, it's menu 7 for distribution. And then if you press down, you go to, you can see binomial PD at the bottom and then binomial CD there.
Okay, what's going on here? Oh, I am here. We can see everything. No, I want to go a bit of that way. You can see the microwave in the background, just trying to square things up a little bit. Okay, so Ronnie has just texted me to say that let's just message her. I'll say I'm online. I'll ask her, can you tether? Can you do it from your phone maybe? I'm just seeing whether she's going to be able to do the next class or not. So I am not going to be able to do any maths with you. Ronnie just texted me to say, can I check in with you guys so that you weren't left completely random. We're having one of those days today. Like, I am currently in the kitchen of my Airbnb where I'm in isolation because I was trying to set up in the room in the back there, but the internet was so terrible I had to scrap my year 12 class as well. So we're not having much luck with the year 12 classes. What can I ask you? Well, we've got a few minutes. We'll try and get Ronnie online, at least on maybe Zoom on her phone to broadcast to YouTube. She may not be able to do some screen sharey type stuff. We'll just figure out and do what we can. I am going to be doing my replacement year 12 class for biology, probably not this evening because I'm just flown back from Australia. I'm really behind with catching up with all my students' comments in the course. We've also got some basically to make some extra plans to see how we're going to help support you and keep everything on track. So any questions about how you should be using your time or strategies that you're using to keep on top of your work and what you're doing give me also you year 12 or year 13 right now, just let me know in the chat. And also let me know 12 or year 13, first of all, you can just do that. And then subscribers or not subscriber, just to give me some idea of who I'm talking to. Well, she's got no internet, which means it doesn't really matter whether it's on Zoom or on YouTube. In her, I think I don't know whether it's the whole street or whether it's just her house. So I don't think doing it in Zoom is going to be a solution. Our live classes for our subscribers will be starting up again. What day of the week are we? I think this week. It's been really difficult with me being stuck overseas, and it's just been a mad couple of weeks for everyone, I think. Do you have any questions about you specifically year 12s, like what your teachers have said to you in terms of like how you're going to be up to speed for learning things for be ready to go at the beginning of September? Next year is going to be really challenging just because you guys will have a lot to get through. I would really try to get ahead as much as you can because you're going to be really stressed this time next year if you just kind of slack off a little bit now, you don't do the work that you kind of supposed to be doing, whether they're supporting you with that or not. Obviously, there are other ways that you can learn it without a teacher. It's maybe a bit more sucky to do that, but not letting yourself get to the point where you are basically 3 months behind going into the beginning of year 13, and that would be really, really tricky because, there's a huge amount of content in biology to learn, and there's a huge amount of complexity to add in math. How's it going, JLo? How are you finding the course? Anything you'd like to ask about finding your way around inside there? I can give you a little virtual tour. Is it possible to finish all the notes for ASNA2? It kind of depends where you're starting from, Sarah. Like, it also depends on how many hours per day you want to do. I know with my course is heavy at, like, it's about 40 hours for the AS content and about 40 hours. But Ronnie's maths course is a lot less than that, a lot less than that, because there's much less content to learn in maths. It's much more skills to be able to do. Let me just send Ronnie this link here. It might save her just a little bit of, that might be an issue. I've now become the host. We'll see. I don't know whether she's going to be able to join us now or not. If not, then I think what we might do is just, again, basically scrap our year 12 class. We'll get Ronnie online, hopefully for the start of the year 13 class. You can probably do that from her phone. So again, bear with us. And then we'll just reschedule the year 12 class so you don't miss out on any content. Yeah, JLo, you asked me a question. I just literally just responded to you because your name in the course is not JLo. So I just recorded you a video. Actually, that's what I was doing when Ronnie messaged me to say, I can't get online. My internet in my house has gone down. I was answering exactly your questions. It depends. I asked you in that video what it is that you'd like us to help you with. If it's learning exam technique and there's a few bits of content, the overlap between Edexcel and A and B, Edexcel B is a lot. But let's not talk about biology and hijack this. Respond to my comment in the course. I'll be doing that. I've got 3 days worth to catch up on, which is a lot for me because normally I'm there every day. But obviously I've been on planes for the last, forever basically. So I normally respond to you within 24 hours. And this week I'll be fully online and fully able to answer all your questions. There'll also be live classes for you subscribers. I'll probably move mine back to Tuesday evenings from Sunday mornings because now I'm in the UK. Ask me in the course. I'll come back to you there. Any other questions about TT in general? Any questions about your accounts or how to use it? Okay, so if you are one of our subscribers, what ways have you found that have been the most effective of using TT? Which bits about it do you like the most? Is that the fact that you can ask questions and get answers? Is it the fact that you can like binge a whole load of content and go back and rewind it and watch it like multiple times? Is it that what strategies have you used that you think other students might find successful? Is it the live classes? The Edexcel for biology have 2 specifications, not for maths. I do not believe there's Edexcel have the international A level for maths, but it's a different spec. In biology, they write 2 different versions of the spec, Edexcel A and Edexcel B. OCR also do it in biology, OCR A and OCR B. But AQA, there's only 1 exam board in biology. Okay, so it's 1:45 now. I think the best thing to do is we'll reschedule this year 12 class for an evening, probably an evening, because our YouTube channel is basically busy all day, every day with the content that we're going through with you. So I suggest that we reschedule this for an evening. I'll ask when Ronnie's it's most convenient with her to reschedule that. And I'll phone her now and I'll try and get her online so we can start in 13 minutes for the year 13 class. Hopefully it will be either from her phone or from her tethered data. I think it's probably going to be the only way that we're going to make that work. So yeah, watch this space. We'll be back with the year 13 class in 12 minutes or so. Oh, I'm glad you like the exam guide. Yeah, it's a lot of hours have gone into, well, both the courses, a lot of hours have gone into, but yeah, we've given that a lot of thought and there's still lots of improvement to be done. Another thing that I can ask you before we go is that we're looking at doing some focus groups regularly throughout this crazy time of flux, basically where we'll just jump in a Zoom room together and we'll ask you questions. What would be most useful, this or that? How would you most like us to do it? If any of you are interested in joining a focus group, basically to jump in and have a chat with us and let us know your thoughts and feelings as one of our subscribers or not a subscriber, doesn't really matter, then let me know in the comments. Don't put it in the chat, put it in the comments below the video. So we can maybe catch up with you, and I don't know, we'll probably be arranging one for later in the week just to try and catch up on how we can be most useful to you. Well-being lesson, 30 days of yoga. Yeah, okay, that's a nice idea. Yeah, I mean, We can maybe do some lifestyle-y type stuff as well. If maybe you might be interested, also let us know in the comments what you'd like to see from us, some more behind the scenes type stuff. You can see my crazy setup that I've got in this kitchen right now, whether that'd be interesting to you. Then yeah, let us know. And let me go, and then I'll get Ronnie online for, if not, then I'll come back and let you know that if it's not possible, I'll come back online and let you know. So yeah, see you in the year 13 class in 10 minutes or so. Oh, I need to end the stream from over here.